At the base of the world tree, Yggdrasil gnaws Needhog at the roots, and the well of Mimir, Skuld, Verendi, and Urd tend to the well's waters. It is said that they weave a tapestry of all the aces and men, the carls, the jarls, and even the thrall. But of the aces, none is more beloved of man than Thor. Thor woke with a fright, and mighty did become his rage. For Mjolnir was gone. Where had Mjolnir gone? Loki! Loki knows. So the Aesir assembled. And upon his high throne, Odin himself called Laufey's son, Loki, to explain himself where the dwarf made hammer of the thunder had gone. And Loki said, I can find out. So I see that you, Thor, are in a smiting sort of mood. So I'm thinking, hold on just a second. And off he ran. And Loki went on many adventures. Some say he borrowed Freya's falcon cloak. And he sailed to Jotunheim. Sailed in the wind. Many are such tales. But ultimately, Loki did find Mjolnir in the holes of a thirst, a Jotun, most fearsome, named Thrym. Now Thrym had a great feasting hall, and on his high seat sat the hammer. Around him, his people rejoiced. They had taken the weapon that the wielder of woe for their kin had lost. The hammer now belonging to giants. Great magic would they weave. But what were the gods to do? They could not march all the way to Jotunheim to wage war against the giants, those Etten, those trolls. What could they do? Now Thor was really, really angry. Perhaps a fearsome might be an understatement. But it was Laufey's son Loki that came up with the plan. He said, I have an idea. See, when I talked to Thrym, you talked to Thrym? Yes, Thor, I talked to Thrym. He did mention that he would give the hammer back if he could marry Freya. All the gods had a collective, head scratch as they thought to themselves and went, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Freya, could you marry? No? That's a hard no. It's a hard no. Okay, with the Valkyries and stuff, could you,
Oh, okay. No, we were kidding. Super a joke. We would never marry you off. It's a terrible idea. Loki was a terrible idea. It's his idea. Nothing to do with that. So, back at square one, Loki thought to himself, there might be another way. Hey, Freya, before you go, can I borrow your dress? I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but do you have a wedding dress that maybe we could take out a little bit and put some extra girth in there? Because I was thinking maybe we could dress Thor up in a wedding dress and, like, take him and pretend he's you. Thor was mad. He was really, really mad. But, you know, the Aesir, even the Vanir, they thought this was hilarious. So everyone agreed but Thor. Eventually, after some drinking and some convincing, Thor was coerced, perhaps, that he might don the bridal veil and a dress of Freya's, and he and Loki traveled to Jotunheim. Loki dressed as a handmaiden, of course, and in they sauntered. Loki said to Thor, Hey, Thor, could you put a little more jiggle in those hips for me? It'll sell the ruse better. I'm not. It's not funny. Just wiggle a little bit, huh? And your beard sticking out of the veil. Yeah, you got it. So Thor walks into Jotunheim. Let me do this again. Jiggle, right? Good enough. They walk in the Jotunheim, and they go to the hall of Thrym, and the Thudders are mightily pleased that Freya herself has come to them. This is wonderful. So, in comes the would-be bride, and a feast is presented on a mighty long feast table. Oxen and gallons of mead, and, well, a bunch of food and drink. And if there's anything Thor likes, it's a bunch of food and drink. Thrym says, Freya, you have come to be my bride. Thor starts to reply, and Loki goes, Oh, mighty Thrym, it is I, Lokieta. And I did not just make that up. And here comes Freya, and she will be your bride. Yes. So the feast begins, and Thor is so angry that he starts eating. And he takes a big leg of cow and just rips it off and hangs it over the fire and starts eating it. Lifts up his veil, spits out a bone, and takes a side of cow and is eating that. And Thrym, quite taken aback at his dainty bride eating like this, goes, Freya, you seem to be eating extraordinarily much. Oh yes, Freya is not eaten in 3 days. She's so excited to see you, so she's eating now. And Thrym thought about this and said, okay, all right. But then he looked over and he sees Freya, and she's got this giant jug of mead. Like horn after horn of mead. And Thrym is a little concerned about this because they've only got so much mead, and they're giants. He says, Freya, you're drinking all of our mead. And, oh, no, no,
She hasn't drank anything either. She's very excited to see you, Thrym, my lord. My great Jarl of giants. She's just thirsty. That's all. She's nerves. You know, nerves. And she's nervous. Drinking a little bit. Wedding nerves.
All right, Thrym was okay with this. He's a little concerned, but whatever. You know, he starts thinking to himself, though, I don't know. Let me get a closer look at this bride of mine.
So Thrym approaches, and he gets really close, and he looks at Freya in the eyes, and her eyes are like bloodshot rage.
Thrym is like, Freya, why do your eyes look like they want to rend the flesh from my bones and grind them into paste?
Oh, my lord Thrym. Freya has not slept in many days either, so her eyes are bloodshot. She's tired. She's tired. She hasn't slept. She's nervous. She's drinking. She's hungry. She had a cow or 12. And she's tired. Okay, her eyes, bloodshot. Leave it alone!
Oh. Fine. Very good. Well, let's get on with this wedding. I am a giant after all, and I'd like to get to some consummation.
Well, my lord, perhaps to begin the festivities of the wedding, why don't we put Freya over here, and you over here, and then we'll put Mjolnir on Freya's lap to show that you have won everything. Yes, that's true. Maybe you can even keep it. Just put it on her lap. It'll be fine.
Thrym thinks to himself, this is good. This is a good plan. Come, my would-be bride, sit beside me at the feast hall. Take my place upon the dais in the open high. And so comes Freya. Slowly at first, tepidly, sauntering a little bit, comes to sit beside the Thus and takes her place beside him. Her eyes red with rage. A veil covering her face. Thrym puts Mjolnir onto her lap. And the thunder raised Mjolnir to the sky and smote his ruin. And he took the hammer and struck down the giants in that hole. And he and Loki returned to Asgard, to the hall of the Aces. And in they walked to the shining hall. The Aces, the Vans, waited to hear the great story. And Thor boldly strode forward, and he began to speak gallantly about the sword storm feast of crows. And spoke Loki.
Yeah, Thor totally wore a dress and had to like get married to get the hammer.
And the gods are like, ah! You had to wear a dress, and we're like never gonna forget this forever. And this story is gonna be being told in like 1,000 years. Cause Thor, ha! Please don't smite me.